find a way off my dreams. Find salvation in my schemes. Find salvation in my schemes. There's no need to save the world. I need to transcend me. I need to transcend me. What you do without empathy? What you do without empathy? All right, we in there. Peace family, what's good? We got, is it BNycole or Nicole B? I'm sorry for that. I want to make sure I say your name properly.
It's Nicole B.
Nicole B tonight, authoress. I feel like you do more than just writing, though.
You're correct. I'm a trauma coach. I am. I have a. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I have an associate's in science. I'm a writing coach. I'm a wife, a mom. I have quite a few different things that I do, but writing is my number one passion.
God bless it. That's it. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Let's just hear an applause real quick.
Thank you. I don't know why that made me so nervous for you to ask me, but I don't usually tell people all that stuff, so I don't know. Caught me off guard.
I'll be honest. I got that effect on people. Like, there was like the before being an author, and then there was the after being an author. And then after that, it's like people don't even, for me personally, I'll speak from my own perspective. It's like, especially since you're a trauma coach, maybe you can help me through this. I felt like once I became an author, people didn't even see me as human anymore. It's like I used to wrestle, bodybuild, that kind of stuff. So it's like woo-doo-woo. Like they want to see you as an athlete. They want to see you on a basketball court. So do something to entertain them. So they could. But when I decided to become an author, I wanted to pursue like the mental pursuits. I wanted to compete at the level of being an intellectual. You know, they were like, I mean, it's like you become dangerous or something. So I'm not. Don't take that personal. I definitely probably just read into it.
No, I feel like people, especially when they find out you're an author, at least in my experience, I've had people kind of nervous to, let their walls down with me because they're afraid I'll use them for material, or they just see me as a straight up writer all the time. So I kind of get what you're saying if that's where you were going with it.
Word. Yeah, I dealt with that. In the very, very early days, I dealt with that. I'd be sitting at the bar or something writing. I used to wash dishes. So after working the bar, I would sit at the bar writing. People would go, what are you writing on? Are you writing about us? It's like, no, I'm not writing about you.
You gotta be nice about it,
right? At first, until it was like, oh, will you write about me? Will you put me in your book? And it's like the type of stuff I write. I'm like, I'm not sure if you want to be.
That's what I'm saying. Have you read any of my books? Because they're very dark. I'm like, do you really want to be in my books?
For real. Or they're like deeply personal type of stuff that it's like, if I was writing about you, it wouldn't be anything positive or anything. It would be, I feel like once I healed a little bit more, it was easier to write about the positive stuff. It was easier to, I'm trying to move into young adult now. It was a cooler thing once I healed a little bit. But early on, it had to be about pain and trauma. It had to, because that's what compelled me to become an author. I couldn't articulate it, so I had to write it down,
Yeah, I relate to that.
How did you get started, though?
So honestly, it all started for me as a kid. I was writing like this urban vampire.
I think you froze up for a second. You froze up at the good part. I think she's going to be right back. Let's just give it a second. Could it be me on my end? I hope, but I really hope is not happening now, is I hope that she's not like going on and the video is like completely cut off. I pray that this is a mutual situation where she don't got to repeat herself, but your video and your audio cut off if you're able to hear me. Okay, I think she's going to come right back. Urban vampire sounds really like cool, though. That sounds, especially now with like Sinners coming out. They might have a Sinners Part 2. I don't know how they would pull that off. kind of like a Blade type of vibe, you know. Okay. Last time this happened, it reminds me when I had DJ Rari on, you know, that kind of superstar aura. It always messes with the technology, man. I'm just chilling. I could try to entertain you if you want while we're waiting for them to come back. Let me pop on to Facebook real quick and see if might be able to get some idea what's going on. Is it on my end? I sent her a message on Instagram, so maybe we could figure this out. It's going so well too. I feel like it's the aura, man. I felt like there's so much aura when she came on camera. It just broke all the technology in the room. And now the technology kind of has to recalibrate. You know, you got like 4D, 4K, I mean, and sometimes the 5D does not fit through into the third density properly, and it breaks the electronics. When you got too much sauce, you got too much aura. So we gotta wait, see if we can get her back on. Hopefully this goes well. Nicole B. Now I'm faced with the decision here. Do I end the recording right now? Do we attempt to reschedule for another time? Or do we just keep going? I don't know. Like, I don't have a way to gauge how entertaining me waiting here is for people. You know, I guess there's like there's like a marginal entertainment value of the undeleted bloopers of this completely. This isn't live. This is live, like, to anybody, like, pre-recorded and not edited. We just go out there. All right, wonderful. Her husband saved the day, y'all. Her husband saved the day. Her husband fixed the Wi-Fi. And now, you know, maybe we could get the connection fixed. We could go back at it again. Oh, because I don't know. Vampire, like urban vampire. I've heard of it in like a Twilight type of sense, but I don't even feel like that's where it went. You're back.
I am back. Sorry about that.
I had to hold the fort down without you. I was like, do I stop the recording? Do I just keep the recording going? Do I just do banter for a bit? I felt like you had too much aura. So when you came on, the 5D aura didn't translate into the third density, so it broke. Sometimes that breaks the electronics.
See?
So I thought you might be on that wavelength, but we were talking. You were telling me about urban vampire fantasy or urban vampire romance, which you cut
No, I
off
was
at urban
9, so
vampire.
it all started when I was 9. I was writing about a vampire. I believe her name was Lila the Vampire. And it was supposed to be like this comic strip, but it really just turned into a story. And I ended up doing the first act, the second act, but I always got hung up on the third act real bad. I mean, this started at 9 years old.
Yeah.
And, that lasted until I released my first book, which was not even a vampire book, called Legacy of a Good Girl Gone Bad. It was always the third act until I did that book. And I don't know what happened with that book in particular, but it was finally the book that broke me free of that curse. But that's when I started writing at 9. It all started then.
I have two completely different ideas about that. The first idea is that it's very hard to like end a book, emotionally, and also just like in a literal sense of writing the ending. It's like you write this wonderful beginning, you create this incredible rising action, and then if it's not a series, if it's just like a standalone book, it's almost like you're saying goodbye to these characters after that. The journey
For
is
sure.
over, there's no more mission left, everything's resolved, and now they got to go back to living their life.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard. It's kind of hard to write an ending. So I feel like if you're younger, that's kind of like for me sometimes some of my characters I love them, but I don't really necessarily like them. Like I get the
Right.
motivations and why they do the things, but some of my characters like I love. Like I really like love and like them as people, and they're kind of like my friends. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't want to see. I might put you in a near death experience where you're right there on the edge of death, but
Right.
we gonna make it solid. I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid. We gonna figure this out at
Oh
the end of the
no.
day. So I could kind of see why you might have had some issues ending it. Did you ever figure out why you had problems ending the book?
It was very much based around everything you just said. I based my characters off of people or things that were close to me over the years. And I don't do happy endings. I've never done happy endings ever since I was a kid. So I would come up with all these different
That's
endings and none of
interesting.
them would be great. And I'm like, I don't want to see this character actually die, or I don't actually want to, go through that. But it will be the only way that the ending would make sense. And so therefore I would be stuck, you know.
I feel like because if the ending isn't happy, the story isn't over yet. Hasn't
Hmm.
been enough conflict. There hasn't been enough rising action. There hasn't been like like the ending part of the story structure's resolution. So if there is no resolution, the story's just not over. Do you
I
know
think
how
that's
long are the
subjective.
books you read? Yeah,
I
of
write
course
short
it's subjective.
stories.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna ask how long are the books you write? I write epics. So it's like
Okay.
with an epic, you got a lot of time, I got like 100,000, 200,000 words to put everything together perfectly and to summarize it all. That by the
Yeah.
time it's the end of the story, it's like, yeah, this is the end. I feel like I
Right.
write short stories more so now. And it's like with a short story, it's like I always have the option of writing another short story about the same character, the same. So I don't need to resolve everything in a short story
Yeah.
the same way that I need to in a. If I'm writing a novel and someone's investing like 50,000 words to read it, they want to see what happens at the end of the story.
Well, I feel like Homewreck is a full novel. That's one of my latest novels. It is part of a series.
I believe
It's
I saw that one.
200 and so pages. And I don't think that it ended happy. And part two is going to be coming, and I'm not going to spill how that'll end or how that'll go at all. But
Yeah.
like I said, I think it's all very subjective. It's all about the author because it's their universe. If I feel like a story can end not happy, but everything kind of answered itself in that end on, answered itself for the story, then I totally do feel like that happens, because in life, everything doesn't always happen like we planned it. Everything doesn't always go gracefully. That's real life. A happily ever ending in every situation is not, realistic. So that's my take on it.
I feel that to the extent that I used to see it that way. I used to see it that way for like a good decade. I saw it that way. And then I didn't. It's about what the reader wants at the end of the day. I'm not buying my books. I'm not a customer. I see my books completely for free. I don't got to pay a dime for them. I don't got to pay a dime for the audiobook. I'm not any financial investment I'm making into my book. I'm making a financial investment for someone to give me more money back. I'm not making the financial money investment to just break even or to lose money on this anymore. So it's about what the reader wants. It's about what the market wants. It's about the people who are going to buy my book, and they're going to buy multiple copies of my book. They buy the one book and now they want to buy every book I wrote before. They buy the one book and they're like, this is the greatest book I've ever written before. You're the greatest author of all time. Like, it's for that. For me personally, some people are like, I hear a lot of different perspectives. Some people are like, I just want people to read my story. Some people, it's just about catharsis. It's not about being a bestseller. It's not about selling millions of copies. It's not about this, it's not a financial endeavor for them where they're trying to make a living off of this. It's something that they do as catharsis and therapy. And that's what I did for a really long time. And then, I looked at the numbers and I was like, you could probably try to make a living off of this. And then the dynamic changed entirely, and it was about the market. What does the market want to see? I could still write my main series. I could still write everything that I want to write, but I have to write it geared towards what are people actually going to buy. My business model is, if this is somebody's last $20 in their pocket, are they going to buy this book?
Okay.
So if this is someone's last $20, are they going to pick up this book?
So you're not writing for anything within yourself, then you're writing directly for the readers at this point.
I already wrote for myself.
Okay.
I wrote enough for myself. I wrote for myself to probably last me the next 2 years, and then I could write about being a dad and stuff like that. But right now it's like there's other people connecting with my work. There's other people using my work to heal themselves. There's other people using my work to gain perspective of the world that they want to live in. It's no longer just about my ego. It's no longer about, as my lady puts it, she's like, you write about this guy who walks in the room and every girl finds him attractive. That's not realistic. And it's like, no, it's not realistic. So a lot more of my writing now is about anti-racism. It's about anti-misogyny, but not like in a preachy, shove it down your throat type of tone. Like, it's a great story, but it challenges the perceptions and themes of this society. When before I just wrote about relationships, I wrote about my relationship experiences, what I wanted for my fantasy to be, shit like that. And I still do.
So you're still there. About what you're passionate about. You're just changing it up. So yeah, that's what I just got from that. You're still writing about your passion.
I'm putting it in a way that people will buy it. There's free speech and there's paid speech, and I want to explore this paid speech avenue. It's like, I don't know. I felt like in the pandemic is every single person wanted to be a writer, and I was doing it before then. So it's the post-pandemic era. I'm meeting people who are still writers, and it's like, what motivates y'all? What keeps y'all doing this when you had to have seen this. 2020, everybody wanted to be it. Now there's so few of us left. It has to be more than the money, for sure.
I missed it. I missed all that wave because I was not on social media at that time. When I got back on social media, it was when I released my first book, Legacy of a Good Girl Gone Bad. So that was July 2024. I've only been an author
Nice.
for a little over a year.
That's
Um,
post-pandemic. Oh wow, that's
yeah.
incredible.
So
That's
that's when I got
incredible.
back on social media. I got off of social media in 2019. So I missed that
Wow.
whole wave. And when I came back, what I did see from everything in the industry was, I
Oh my
just kind of
god,
fell into it,
I miss.
just
Oh
jumped
my
in.
god, I miss that. I miss that feeling. I miss that feeling so much. I don't. You don't know how much that warmed my heart to hear because I remember my first year, and it's like you did it. Like you did
It's been
it.
crazy. It's
You
been
really
crazy.
did. You joined the 2%. You're in the top 2% of the planet now. There's so many
Mhm.
people that want to write a book, and they might write the book. They might finish it, but you packaged it. You put it out there for people to see. So
Yeah.
you need to spend. You personally would probably need to spend a decade or so write about whatever you writing about. Write about your style, your flow, your voice, your tonality. Figure that all out first. I won't say don't worry about the I would say learn the marketing as soon as humanly possible so that you can focus on the writing entirely. You know, that is the only thing I would have done differently is that I felt like I did focus on the writing. The marketing isn't just the promotion. The marketing are you the scale from I don't want to mansplain you. So on a scale
I'm
from one
listening
to
to you
10,
though,
like how I don't want to say anything that's repetitive, though. I don't want to say anything that you already. How familiar are you with the marketing aspect? If we're being vulnerable, you don't got to talk about how many sales you made or nothing like that. How familiar are
I mean,
you?
I
How
can.
much do you enjoy the marketing aspect? Hey, I'm not gonna stop
We
you.
can be super vulnerable. We can be super raw because I've only been an author for a year and some change now. So, like I said, July
There's none to
2024
prove.
has been my first year. So, was my first year starting. So, as far as the marketing, I think I do quite well with it. I put myself out there. I don't really
I'm with you.
worry about backlash. So I market on all my social media accounts. I market in real life. If I'm out with my husband, we out anywhere, I'm marketing. If I'm out with my kids, I'm marketing myself. I'm constantly putting my brand out there, but that doesn't mean I know everything. That's just honestly probably just the tip of the iceberg
I
there.
would tell you, you did okay. That's why I asked the question. That was a beautiful answer, and I absolutely love it because that's exactly what I did, and that is promotions.
Hmm.
That is not the marketing aspect. The marketing is everything you do before you get to that point.
Okay.
And I did not know that. It's like the metadata, the buyer's persona, who's your target audience and who are you seeking? Because I burnt myself out, and it made the writing more difficult because it started to become a point of contention and resentment because you want to make some like money. You want this to be completely lucrative. So when you got to work and you don't have time for writing, it's like, I want to do what my soul commands me to do. But the marketing is the packaging, it's the positioning. That's what I mean. So I write more so with an audience in mind because over time I had a clear perspective of who was reading my book, who was actually finishing the books and leaving reviews and who was giving me feedback. And I don't know, I just became easy in a sense, but also a lot more difficult because I approach the marketing perspective now from a completely neurotic, multi-layered approach that is so time consuming. It's like
Mhm.
it's insane. I wouldn't recommend it to most people. I feel like you have a natural gravity and attraction that a lot of people aren't. They're not. I feel like they're just gonna want to support you. You just
I
got to
would love
give them something to support.
that.
I'm not talking about friends and family, unfortunately. I'm not. They might be wonderful, beautiful, amazing people, but quite honestly, it's like once you do a pursuit like this, that kind of thing no longer matters because if they're not actually going to read your books and like indulge in this new world that you've created, it's not like it's like imagine you're LeBron James and you got a cousin that has never watched one of your basketball games before.
I'm gonna stop you here. I don't do sports. Talk about something else.
I don't do
I'm not
sports
one
either.
of
I just
those
thought
women.
everyone know. I think that's a good. That's exactly the point though. It's like you want him to be more than just a basketball player at that point. You want him to be more. So it's like anytime you're dealing with friends or family, they're like it's like leave the writing shit
Yeah.
out the door. I don't care about none. I care. They care about me as a person. Writing is something I wanted to do. So I don't know. Damn. What are you into then?
I'm into a lot of different things. As you know, writing. I'm into traveling with my family and things like that. I'm into music, very big into music. I'm into fitness. I try to get me and my family up every day. As far as anything else, I'm kind of just a family woman, a stay-at-home mom, a wife, and everything like that for now. But I'm very simple. I like The Sims.
That sounds like a very idyllic life. I won't lie to you. That sounds like a very beautiful American dream. And I really pray for your husband's a superhero, by the way. Her husband is the only reason this is happening right now because he fixed the Wi-Fi.
I don't know what happened. I'm just like, I need it fixed because I'm just starting this discussion.
Everyone needed to know that's the superhero sometimes. Sometimes it's not the person always in front of the camera. It's the people that support us and the people that enable us to be in this position to begin with. So shout out
Right.
to Amanda. Shout out to your husband. What's your husband's name?
Kenneth.
Shout out to Kenneth. Shout out to Amanda. Amanda's my spouse. And
Shout
thank
out.
you for empowering us to do this because that's the brand that I'm building too. Is that it's about the family. I'm like, I don't know. We talk about everything on this show. We talk about writing. We talk about current events, social dynamics, and the people in the audience. They're probably this is a very tame, sane conversation based off the last 2 to 3 conversations that and that's a good thing. That's not. God bless you for that. God bless.
I mean, if you withholding or anything you want to talk about, we can go there. Like I said, I'm a little Philly author. We can talk about whatever. You ain't got
Oh, you're
it.
from Philadelphia.
Yes.
I'm from New Jersey. So that's a beautiful thing. Tri-state.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not. I forgot the actual point I was making with that. More so, it's a relief because it's like I feel like the people that were watching are like, "Wow, it hasn't gotten political yet. It hasn't gotten like." You got a really great vibe about you. I really appreciate that. There's no insult to anyone that's ever been on the show, but you're gonna go far. You just have.
I appreciate that.
I don't even think it's a sense of there's anything missed. I think you just need to give yourself enough time and belief in it to get to the happy ending. I think the limitation, if there ever is one, is just the belief that there's not always going to be a happy. Because I was literally before we got that, I was watching this video. I'm really big into self-development. I think self-development is the true alchemy. And it's like we're taking ourselves from lead and we're becoming gold in that process. So it's about self-development. And there's this thing called identity defense, identity protection, and it's like sometimes we don't get where we want to be, not because we're not good enough, not because we're not strong enough, not because we don't have the support system, we don't have the finances, but it's because we don't see ourselves actually being that person. The person that's successful, it feels like a different identity than the person that we are, So when I say I am a best-selling author, I am a best-selling author. But when I say I'm an author that can provide and pay everything with just being an author, it's like it feels like a separate identity. I've seen that reality. I've seen the capability of that. I see it, but it's like there's so much. Like I was telling my son today, because I think my son's a genius, there's so much mental garbage in my mind that it blocks me from seeing who I really am in reality. It blocks me from seeing the man that other people sees. It blocks me from seeing the person that my spouse sees. And I'm sitting here beating myself up sometimes. And she's like, I think you're wonderful. I think you're great. And I'm like, how dare you think that about me? I have so much work to do. don't you see how incomplete I am? But it's
You
like, you
just
are enough
channeling your
already.
inner Vegeta on her and stuff. She trying to compliment you.
I'm definitely more of a Goku type of guy, but I feel like that's
I
the
can
inner
see it.
dialogue. I feel like
Hmm.
that's the inner dialogue, and because Goku's had to watch people die,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
Goku's been through some dark shit. I mean,
and
keeps a
and you got
smile
to
on his
just,
face.
you get stronger. Life don't get easier. The victories don't get easier to come to you. The opponents don't get. Because I don't know, the Vegeta thing, I had to do. All respect to the Prince, for real, all respect to Prince Vegeta, but like, I had too many friends back in the day who were like wanted to identify with Vegeta. There's a lot of, that's another thing, is like the anti-misogyny shit. I feel like that Vegeta persona is like all these men desire to be the fucking anti-hero. They want to
Mm,
be like the oppressor or some shit like that. And it's like Vegeta just kind of encapsulates that kind of like, no disrespect to a lady being in the room, but this kind of like American cuckold identity that a lot of these men have. They talk about being alpha men. And they have to listen to, like, they have to watch other men be with the women. They have to watch other men talk to girls. They have to watch other men, all their life, their entire life is other men telling them what being, sorry if I hit the mic, is other men telling them what being a man is. Other men, and to the point of like, they make money off of these guys. They make money off of these men being dependent upon this one bald guy, viewing them as a real man.
right.
You got to give him as much money as possible so he'll see you as a real man. And I'm just like, I ain't doing that shit. I'll be a fucking Piccolo before I be a goddamn Vegeta.
Piccolo is the realest.
I'm not doing that shit, man. I don't got no type of like, I got imposter syndrome for like a few things, but I'm not like, I don't need anybody else's approval to do this.
Well, that's good.
So
As you should.
I appreciate it, because like, all respect to Vegeta, like,
It was
ultra
just the
ego,
voice you was
whatever.
doing. You was
I
giving real
appreciate that. I
Saiyan Prince
appreciate that.
voice.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's the voice acting right there. I
See?
started doing my own audiobooks. I got to do that like more often. Like, it's like being an author is just so incredible. Like, I'm really glad you get to experience this for your first year. I would like implore you, like, while you're still fresh at this, while there's still no judgment, while there's still like no, you're still figuring out the standard that you want for everything, try to release an audio, excuse me, try to release an audiobook or something, because it's like the experience of it is just so dramatic. It's just a whole different interaction with the story. It
Okay.
just brings it to that fourth dimensional kind of. I'm not trying to be like metaphysical or nothing, but it is like, it's
You
a
good.
the audio visual aspect of it is just so, it brings it to life in a completely different way, in which it's like, my story is real, my story is in permanence. Like,
Right.
you got the physical copy, but once you sell it, the physical copy is no longer in your, like, you can't see it anymore. But like,
Yeah.
hearing the audiobook is like, I don't know, it's a whole different, I'm just so happy for you. Like,
I appreciate
congratulations,
you.
keep
Thank
going.
you.
Do you have, how many books do you have out so far? Just the
4.
one? Four. What are
Mhm.
they? Do you have any copies of them?
No physical copies on hand right now. The only physical copy I have that I sell is Home Wrecked, but all my books
Okay.
are Legacy of a Good Girl Gone Bad, Part 1 and 2. There's A Choice to Stay. That was my book baby. That's my little messy love triangle novel. That one got nominated for an award. I didn't take that award home, but
Congratulations.
congratulations to who did. Maggie, sorry, Gray Huffington run that award. I'm thinking of the book and I'm mixing her name and I'm very tired. I lost my cat yesterday, so I didn't really
Oh,
sleep
my
well last night.
condolences. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
My
I held
deepest
her the whole time when they were putting her down, so I did not sleep last night. So to the
I'm really
audience and
sorry.
anybody, all these mistakes I'm making, please give me grace.
You've been
But
amazing.
thank
You've
you.
been incredible. I'm not laughing at I'm laughing at the idea that you feel like you did anything wrong. You were incredible.
Oh, thank you. I know I mispronounced her name, and she's an
Oh,
absolute, she's like a legend to me as an author. I've read her book. She's amazing. So she took that award home. She absolutely deserved it. And for me to even be up there as a nominee next to someone like her it blew my head. It blew my mind. Not to mention how big it blew my head up for a few days, but it blew my mind. I will never get past that one. I'm
yeah,
a
you were
winner each and
nominated.
every.
You were
Yeah, I'm a winner
nominated.
that alone. So
It's all you need is time.
yeah.
Just keep going. Just keep polishing. Just keep perfecting your craft. Like there's nothing that can really stop you but you.
I appreciate that. And I'm definitely
Did
going
you?
to keep going and pushing these stories out. And one day we will get that happily ever after. I'm not one of those writers that's going to stay on this level forever. Like everything doesn't have to be sad or whatever like that. I'm not a sad person. But I have experienced a lot of trauma in myself. That's what, prompted me to become a trauma coach. So I like to share some of my experiences and the experience of those that were around me and fictionalize them, of course, into my book so that maybe readers can take a look and maybe learn a thing or two. Everything isn't always happy, but like you said, there is always, a chance for that happily ever after. And I am open to, evolving into that one day as an author. So it's not just like I'm going to stay. I don't want readers to think that I'm going to stay a writer that's writing dark stuff all the time. We're going to get there one day. But
I feel like I don't want to stop any flow that you're doing. I'm one random guy that you. She's never met me before. This is a first day we've ever physically. Hi, how you doing? Pleasure to meet you. Don't let me stop what you're doing because
it's not
it's
you. It's
your
definitely something I myself
niche.
like. I myself am writing other stories. I'm writing multiple different stories simultaneously right now. So not all of
I
them are
feel
bad. I
you.
have a romance that I'm working on and I'm wondering how I'm going to end that one. I have, a thriller that I'm working on. I have a paranormal fiction that I'm trying to outline. So it's a lot of things that I'm working on right now. It's definitely not, don't feel like I'm getting influenced by you or I'm getting, I feel like I got to do something different off this conversation. I would never do you like that.
If I
It's
was
just
if I was ever going to influence something that you did do though, I'm not trying to cut you off. Please finish what you're saying.
No, I was
But
just saying,
please,
I'm just going in that direction as an author in general. It's a lot of different directions I want to go into. I don't want to
okay.
box myself in. So I don't want to box myself in as the author writing dark stuff either. It's not that. It's just that I haven't published a book with a happily ever after as of yet.
I think as long as you're aware of it, I think that's just something you're gonna have to deal with over the years. And again, it's gonna depend on what people want to read. As someone said to me, the riches are in the niches. So you need to know what your niche is, your niche, whichever way you want to say it. Um, you just get if that's dark romance, that's a very popular genre right now. If it's dark paranormal romance, that's a very popular genre right now. So again, that's what I mean is like when I focus more on the marketing, I could still write the ideas that I want to write. But one of the biggest things that hurt me that I'm still suffering from right now is that maybe my first three books were interconnected and they were just kind of, but it's like they weren't, they weren't a part of a series or anything. There was no way for people to kind of bundle this together as a singular idea. My books were all over the place. So when it
Right.
came to establishing a brand, you know, I couldn't build an audience because it was like a box of chocolates, but some boxes and some chocolates in the box suck. And it's
Yeah.
like some people like coconut. I hate it. I hate coconut. So
Same.
it's like I'm eating the chocolate and it's like, oh man, this is delicious. Milk chocolate, white chocolate, whatever. This is delicious. You get to the center and it's like it don't matter what else
Yeah.
is left inside it. That coconut ruined the whole thing for me. So it's like it would have been easier if I gave everything its kind of era, it's kind of whatever. But again, I had to stylistically, divine timing. I just had to do what I had to do because that's all I knew at the time. If there's a way that you can release them, because I have to like relaunch everything now. I gotta re-promote the books in a way in which they're connected. Because people are like, I wrote a series and like, I don't know which way to read the books. I don't know which book to read first. I wrote them so you could read them in any order that you want to. They're not. That's something that I thought about. That's not something that I said out loud that they knew. So when there's that's the marketing, is that communication from what's inside the mind to how do I tell people how do I tell this to people? How do I present it to people? Where are they? Who are the best people to tell this to? Who are the people looking for this story? Who can this story help? That's the marketing aspect. And what you're already good at is the promotion and the networking. You're great at the networking because you're here. You're great at the promotional aspect as well, because I've seen your work. I've seen it. I've seen it on social media. So you're definitely doing the bag. But what helped was being able to go from being in the wide open ocean, trying to cast my small net and to catch, I'm trying to use a tiny net to catch barracuda, to catch swordfish. The people that actually read books are like unicorns. People will buy your book. People will buy and read the first few chapters of the book. The people that will read the book, sit down with the book, fully understand the book, leave a review, and tell you something helpful, they're unicorns. They're far and few between. They are barracuda. They're like shark. They're like orca whales. Like you're not going out there looking for rabbits.
Right.
There's not an abundance of them. There's 17% of the American population are avid readers. You're not looking for 90% of people. You're not looking for 80% of people. You're not looking for you're looking for 17% of the population, which means you're going to wait. If you're talking to 100 people, you're going to waste a lot of energy trying to talk to all, when you can just find those 17, talk to those 17, and then maybe out of those 17, you might get 5 that will read it immediately. You might get 7 more that will read the book over the next year or so. But it's like, it wasn't this law of averages game that I thought it was. I went from doing sales and doing door-to-door marketing and to doing books, and it's like books couldn't be any more different. Everyone has windows on their house. Everyone has siding on their house. Everyone has a roof on their house. It's like it's easy to sell something that everyone needs. A book is a luxury, and I don't know if you're looking at it from the finance, but I feel like you could. I wouldn't have this conversation with everyone. God forbid. I would not, after the lifestyle that I had being an author, I would not recommend everyone be an author. I would not recommend everyone invest their money into writing books. I wouldn't recommend this to everyone. I really wouldn't.
Right.
You you already have multiple books in mind. You're probably having difficulty finding which book should I read first. What books are most connected to what you've already written, so that you can still write all the books that you want to write, but you can write them in a chronological order that makes sense to your audience, so that when you're releasing these books, they're not going, what the fuck is on your mind? Because I wouldn't wish that on you. It's like, it's not do what you got to do what you're going to do. But it's like, because it was more than just my auntie buying my books. It was more than just my mom. It was people I had never, they don't know me. They've never, once I could accept the people who are going to support me are the people that, quite frankly, they never had, my work is the only interaction that they really have with me. And they might listen to other things I do revolving around, but it's the opposite effect. While there are other people who would love me just for being who I am, there are other people who only want to read the books. Right. And they're the characters, the dynamics, the world that I've created. They're like, I'm living in this world, man. Come on now. It's like you can't stop and just start building another. You can't just start building another universe now. Right. I'm living in this world that you created. I want to live in this world. If they have to move to another planet, they might not come back. It's like, it's expensive moving off of Earth. It's expensive just moving to another state if you had to do that before. It's a huge emotional investment being an author. But imagine the emotional investment in being a reader, the time investment in being a reader, that you're not just asking someone to sit down, listen to a 5-minute song that they might hate their core and never listen to again. And you go, yeah, you got a great music career going on. You want someone to sit down for like an hour to 10 hours to 15 hours to really read this book. You might honestly want them to read the book every single year. You might want to
Right.
expect them. I want you to read this book multiple. I want this to be your new Bible. I want you to read this shit all the fucking
Mhm.
time. It's a different type of mentality that I did not have my first year when I got started. And that's not speaking from authority. It's just I feel like my goal now is to get people out of the valley of despair. I don't know if you ever heard of this I don't even know the dynamic, but it's like the pathway of creation that you start here and you have all these like unrealistic expectations. Your heart's never been broken before. Everything's perfect. And then you get here, it's the height of everything. You did the thing, it's incredible, the goal is accomplished. But then you start getting those diminishing returns because you start learning, oh, I need to invest in an editor. Oh, I need to invest in book covers. I can't just make my own book covers. Or I need to get. This is what I did. That's what people tell you. This is what I did. You got to get so dramatically good at editing. You got to get so incredibly good at making your own covers. You don't need to pay anybody, but you can't. You're not the judge of that. And that's the hard part for a lot of artists to let go of, to step into like the business side of. That was the hardest part for me to let go of, is that I'm not buying my book. So if you ever
Mhm.
want to make this into something that is financial, if it is already, God bless you and keep doing what you're doing and good luck. But if you're still figuring out, how do I pay bills off of this, that is the only thing that really would have changed things for me dramatically, is if I just asked myself, who am I writing this book for? So I was writing it for myself. I wrote most of those books for me. Those books
Yeah.
were for me. They were about me. They were about what I went through. They were the healing that I needed. They were the experiences I needed to see other men go through in order to figure out what I wanted from my life, what kind of partner I wanted, how I was going to solve my relationship. About him, Mike, again. It was like I was writing for catharsis. I was writing for healing. That's like what my therapist told me to do, was read this book called Writing Down the Bones, turn writing into your meditation, turn writing into your healing, and treat writing like a medicine. That's great for me.
Right.
That doesn't mean someone wants to read 200,000 words of that shit. That's not any mark against you. That's a mark against me. But you
Mhm.
have time to keep writing. You can always write another book. You can write everything you want to write, but just make sure the books that you're selling, the books that people are buying, there might be six. You want to make your own cover. You might be able to just edit yourself. You might be able to just pay for Grammarly. But when you're making that product for people to buy, have a target audience in mind. So when you're shooting that arrow, you hit the mark perfectly. And I'm not saying that you're not doing that already. I don't know what you're doing or not doing, but I just feel compelled to say that because I
And I
wish I would have
appreciate
heard that. I really wish someone would have told me that, because there's no. It's like swimming in the fucking ocean. It's like everyone that
yeah.
wants to help you wants to make money off of you. Everyone, everyone, everyone. Even if you find a website, have you ever been like, you go like, how to become a bestseller, how to write a book? It's like, okay, I'll teach you how to write a book if you pay me for it, because
Gotta
it's
sell
like,
your soul.
yeah, or you gotta pay. I got some people coming on that have some horror stories of the publishing industry. I'm self-published. I did not go with a vanity press. I didn't go to traditional publishing. So my journey was a lot harder than other people because I was prideful. I was very stubborn and I did it all myself. I learned it all. I learned how to do all the shit. And it was hard as hell. It probably would have been easier just having a job, to be completely honest. With most people, a lot of people would be better off just working at Burger King. And I'm not lying to them. They might be better off.
You tell them the
But
truth, it's really hard.
it's and there's no thank you. There's no. It's like it's you if you even if you started a business, you would have 2 to 5 years before you broke even or saw some profit. Until the loans actually paid off and you can have your own life, before you can get someplace that you can own and you don't have to lease the space that you're in. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's expensive. You got to buy your own covers. You got to buy all the IBSNs. You got to buy copyrights. It's a huge. It can be. I would say this. It can be a very big financial endeavor, but in reality, everything is free. You don't actually have to pay for any of it. It's all complete option. But if whatever you don't pay for, it costs a lot of time and it costs a lot of attention to do it yourself. You know, because everyone, Jesus Christ, you go on a website, it's like, oh, how do you do Amazon keywords? $79.99.
Right.
How do you do the SEO copywriting? $150. $150 for the course, $500 for the masterclass, and then they have a mentorship program. And it's like, I had to ask the question. I was like, is anyone actually making money? Because I gave all my books away for free. So I'm not even in this conversation. I didn't start selling my books until 2022 for cash. I didn't realize I could make money off of this until I sold a few thousand copies. And then I was like, people actually want to read this?
You was just leaving money on the table.
I was gaining experience. It's like, I didn't feel, again, I was doing it all myself. I didn't really feel like I had a product. I felt comfortable. I'm not a scammer. I'm a very honest type of guy. I'm going to tell people exactly the way it is. And the honest man is always going to be alone. I accepted that a long time ago. So I just didn't lie to people. I didn't bullshit people. I gave them what I had, and that's all I had at the time. I did it all myself. So it wasn't like I was putting a quality product in front of you and I was like, $20. What's good, niggas? $20. Who wants it? It's like, nah, like $5, $10 maybe. Like, I had to be really realistic, but over time the quality got better. Over time I learned what I was doing and I was able to recruit some help or hire people to help me. I was able to treat it like it was a business product and it wasn't just It can be creative and also be entrepreneurial. It can be artistic and have artistic integrity and also pay my bills and buy me things and fund my other businesses. And once I could see that physically, that I could use this to invest in ways to make more money writing, to make more money. I'm not saying it's like it wasn't a life-changing amount of income, but it's like if you have that spark that can create the fire, you can keep fanning the fire until you got a flame going so you could cook dinner, you could warm your house. And if you keep feeding the fire, it can either burn the whole house down because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're putting too much into this and you're just sucking all the resources that you need to live dry, but you could keep the fire going for a long time. It was enough to see. So this is a way to like help authors just kind of see you could do it, but it's not, shit ain't sweet.
No, it's not.
Don't quit your day job. Don't expect this. And I would say more so having a book is a gateway. I would say for you specifically, you could write a book that you could sell for 99 cents or you could sell for completely free. You could use it as a lead magnet and you put that directly into the trauma therapy coaching, the trauma therapy counseling. It's like, here's this book, here's a simple solution that housewives go through. This is what do you want to communicate to your husband that you can't. These are just random ideas. You don't have to take this. You can write a fictional story about how to be an entrepreneurial housewife, how to make a supplemental income, but it has to be a nonfiction book. It could be fiction if you wanted to. It could be 50-50 fiction, nonfiction, but a quick win book, you as a lead magnet. And that is how people leverage books to make money. That is the method everyone else uses. The people making books and raw numbers of sales without scamming people, without taking advantage of people, it's a lot of work, but you could do it. It's like being a 90s R&B singer selling like albums out of the back of your trunk, for real, for real.
Yeah.
Am I lying?
You are not lying about that.
You can think it's hard work. You can think it's crazy. You can think, but am I lying to you? Because
No.
it's what it is. And like, no, the social media is great if you want to be on your phone all day, if you ain't got nothing else to do. But even then, it's like you say one wrong thing on social media, you got people that never want to fuck with you again. Everything on social media has to be so perfect and curated. It's a huge time suck using social media. If you're not really into it and you don't really know what you're doing with social media, it could be a huge waste of money and a huge waste of time. And you'll be sitting there blaming yourself, blaming yourself, blaming yourself. It turns out nobody that you're trying to reach is using that platform. They're not on Facebook. They're on Instagram or some shit like that. They're not. They're on Goodreads. People use Goodreads.
Yep.
I didn't know that. It's been a decade. I didn't know that. So yeah, leaving money on the table. You know, if people use Amazon, you can make your own website. You can sell your books here yourself. This dude sold me a PDF on eBay for like $25. I'm expecting a physical book to arrive in my house. He sent me a delivery address, a tracking slip. He's like, I would go there the day of arrival. I'm like, man, my book's gonna come here. The book was 12-Month Millionaire by Vincent James. If you ever want to read it, 12-Month Millionaire by Vincent James. It's a very difficult book to find a physical copy because you can't buy the book anymore because the guy got arrested for fraud. So you can't buy the book anymore. So finding the book is very difficult, but it's legit. You know, he sold me this book. Paid like $20, $25 for this. It was a PDF version of the book. He sold me a PDF for $20. And I bought it. And I read it. You know, I'm selling books I wrote myself. And I spent years working on the book. I'm selling the PDF for $2.99. He didn't even write this. It's not even his motherfucking book.
My mind is blown. He's selling the book of a scammer for $25. And you bought it.
And I almost got my eBay account shut down. I'm trying to contest this. He's like, no, you already bought the book. I could see you already opened the link. You already opened the link. I'm like, there's nothing there. I had to go through this whole process of like, it was like a zip file. It was like ended up being a PDF, but it was like a zip file. I had to get the thing unzip. It's like people are it's like they're just willing to make the money.
Yeah.
And I think I'll repeat that again for people that need to hear it who are watching, like, they have given themselves their permission to make the money. And I didn't do that. I was hanging out with socialists. I'm hanging out with anarchists. I'm hanging out with people who are poor, who think they're going to be poor forever. So they want solutions to forever poverty. They want solutions for being in destitution forever. And I'm not saying that's not something that doesn't need to be addressed. I'm not saying that that's not a very important cause. I'm saying that I was in a position in which that did not need to be my life. And I could potentially show them, you're an amazing musician. You may not be Beyonce, but you can sing cover songs at a bar. You can sing cover songs at the state fair, at the local farm. You know, there's farms that do events for the kids and whatnot. They need cover singers that can sing Shania Twain and Beyonce. They don't just need a Beyonce. You know, there's avenues out there, but I feel like people want it to look perfect and marvelous and famous before it's not perfect and marvelous and famous yet. You know, it's like you're not, unless you're publishing with Penguin or Random House, don't expect that kind of quality.
Right.
Don't present it like that kind of quality. You know, but don't limit yourself either that you can't get to that point and you can't work with them or whatever you got to do. I know I'm just preaching at you at this point. So
you are okay. I'm taking it all in because I know I'm a new author. I'm not one of those people that think I know everything. So I always appreciate any bit of advice or any words of wisdom that I can get from someone that is so polished in the game, such as yourself. So I know if anybody would know what they're talking about, it would be somebody that's been in the game as long as you have been. So I'm definitely taking your advice and soaking everything in.
And I'd say I may not be able to afford to do it myself, but I know what you need to do to get there. You know, because I've got to meet the people who did it already. It's not me. It's not that I know everything. It's not that I did it all before. It's just humbling yourself. A lot of authors are very arrogant. That's what I'm saying. You're a very amazing, you're a very refreshing person. A lot of authors are very arrogant, very nasty people to have to deal with. And remain humble, because every one person you meet could be a reader, and they might, one conversation that might become your biggest fucking fan. You got no goddamn idea. You know,
Right.
how you treat people is very, very important, because you never know who you're dealing with. You're a very wise woman for that, because you never know who you're dealing with. You
Exactly.
never know who they know, and it's never tread on that kind of territory. We are at the hour point though, so I'm sorry for preaching at you,
It
but
is
if you,
okay.
I would
I
love
had
to
a good
have you
time.
back on. How do we
Definitely.
find you? Any other ideas or thoughts? The floor is yours. Please close this out.
So thank you anyone for watching. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for having me. Again, I'm sorry for all my, I'm talking crazy. I didn't sleep. I lost my cat. So
I'm
I do
sorry
want
about
to,
that again.
thank you. I do want to let
Thank you for
everybody
even
know
coming
that,
on.
hey, listen, I was excited for this opportunity to get a chance to speak with you and, be on your show and everything like that. So you can find me on Facebook under Authoress BNycole. Nicole spelled like my name, Nycole. I have 2 pages on Facebook, both with the same name. You can find me on TikTok with the same name, and Instagram as well. And as far as that goes, stay tuned because I have a lot of things coming up my sleeves. I have more books on the way. I'm considering starting a podcast, and I'm considering starting an e-magazine as well. So stay tuned.
Go after it. Go out. Just don't limit yourself. Just go out. One day we're gonna die. You know,
That
you can die with all these ideas in your head of what you wanted to do, or you can die with all these experiences of what you did. The choice is yours, you know, but my choice is start the show.
yeah.
Start the magazine. You never know what's gonna become of it. You never know what's gonna happen. You can't say that you can't make money being a musician if you don't even release your music. Go after it.
Absolutely.
Any links that you have, any way you want people to find you, just send it to me on Facebook. After that, you're back to your family and your husband. God bless you. Thank you for your time. It was an absolute honor having you on. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and God bless you, and just best of luck in your career.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm ending the recording.